easiest or cheapest intervention we can do for the athletes is improve their hydration.
They'll eat well, they'll exercise too hard sometimes.
Probably your hydration level drops to 2 to 3% when you feel thirst. But we are dehydrated before that also. If you don't eat food, if you don't get enough nutrients, there are no point of a whey protein only. So
Right.
but if you can optimize your nutrition intake, then whey protein might have some impact. මේ supplement එක නරකයි කියන එක නෙමෙයි. අපි සුදු අවස්ථාව තමයි ගන්නවා. We all need probably 7-8 hours sleeping. So that's I encourage for the professional athletes as well as normal person who wants to lose weight or even they are in perfect shape. Still, that sleeping is very important.
Welcome to FitPod, brought to you by Fitski and Olo Water, where fitness meets hydration. So today we have a very special guest with us. Professor Ranil Jayawardena is a clinical nutritionist and a senior lecturer at Faculty of Medicine at University of Colombo. You have a whole list of credentials that I actually want to read out, Doctor. So, you've got a PhD in nutrition from Queensland University of Technology, a registered nutritionist not only in Sri Lanka but also in the UK and Australia, with a research focus on nutrition, obesity, non-communicable diseases, and sports nutrition as well. 26,000 research citations, recognized among the world's top 2% of scientists by Stanford University, and you also actively contribute to public health and sports nutrition initiatives as well. The reason I wanted to read all of this out is because there's so much noise in the fitness and wellness space online now and on all kinds of platforms, and everybody's weighing in, and it's very difficult to distinguish between expert knowledge and expert information and just information and opinions. So really glad to have you here with us. It's such an honor.
Yeah, same here. Well, thank you for inviting me, and it's great pleasure and honor to sharing some technical aspect of the nutrition, including that and hydration aspect.
Okay, so I'm a mere mortal, not a sports person by any means, but I think, like myself, most normal people, mere mortals, are now taking more of an active interest in nutrition and diet and wellness, because I think more of us are becoming more aware of the importance of overall good health. But for the purpose of this discussion and because of your expertise as well, if we focus a little bit on the sports side, the age-old debate of nutrition versus fitness, where does nutrition come into like a sports perspective?
It's a really good question, because if you take something like elite level athletes, there are several other factors also. For example, genetics and training and psychological health. Then nutrition probably would be like only 5%, but that's 5% extremely important for the winning and losing. So we can't never neglect nutrition for the any level of sports person. If you take a normal person, I'm not a sports person, so like you and me, and probably we also need this nutrition for the general health as well as prevent some diseases, and probably like a longevity and probably fitness, and probably we call improve body composition, shape. So nutrition is very important for that also. So if I start from the probably a real sports person, because which is area we don't discuss very much and which is very confusing, because there are very high performing athletes, but they hardly get advices also. So the nutrition advice should be, I would say, like a pyramid shape. So every athlete, even school athlete, I mean, I'm talking sports person, swimmer, so badminton player, footballer, everyone, they should take the calories and the macronutrient in sufficient amount. In other words, they should eat food.
Yeah.
Okay, and in simple terms. In addition, if there are deficiencies, there could be deficiencies. Actually, it's very common. And we have done few research also, but even, track and field athletes, they are always under the sun, but still they have a vitamin D deficiency. And especially like a teenage girls and some female athletes, and they have iron deficiencies. Those are extremely common. So if they have deficiencies, they need some supplementation also. But it is always under medical care, and doses and the durations depend on the conditions. So that's like, I would say, like a basic level. So we have to optimize their food intake and vitamin mineral supplementation. If I go back to again food intake, it's different. We can skip a meal or we can eat little late, but sports person, no, they can't do like that. So every sports person need to get some simple carbohydrate before their training sessions. It's not very complicated meal for simple carbohydrate. It means like a starch or sugar. So even simple thing like a jam sandwich or cornflakes or something is important. After training, probably they need to have something protein and carbohydrate again.
Right.
So not only protein. That's just another myth in this country. They believe high protein, that's very important for the athlete. So like a sports person, no. Carbohydrate remain full. And they need protein for the recovery. Probably I would say like a 25% for the calorie requirement. And that's very important, pre-training meal and post-training meal.
Right.
If a training duration is a little longer, they need some food in between also, depending on the condition and depending on the excess intensity. Probably they can eat a banana or dates, so probably small food in between.
Right.
So other meals, depending on their likeness or dislikeness, they can modify the vegetables and fruits, and they have to go for the healthy meal pattern also.
Right.
If I come on hydration, because probably I would say the easiest or cheapest intervention we can do for the athletes is improve their hydration. Because vitamin is not free, probably food also not free, but water is not that expensive and it's always available in this kind of country. So, but the dehydration is very common professional athletes also.
Right.
And sometimes they start sports with the dehydration, they continue dehydration during training also. Some people probably they start fine, but they become dehydrated during training also. So hydration is very important in addition to that, to beginning, at the end, during training, and throughout the day, hydration is very important. So that's like first layer.
Right.
Can I go for the next layer, or do you have any question?
No, I think when you talk about hydration as well, people, I'm sure most people that come to you in your consultations, the focus when they hear nutrition, the focus is weight loss or weight management. These are the two most common things people talk about in general daily life. So for both of those things, nutrition and fitness are the most commonly talked about aspects. But I have consulted with you, so I think one of the most important things that you also mention is hydration. You do put a certain amount of water that is required to be taken in every single day. So that's obviously very important, but people don't understand that hydration is that important. So they'll eat well, they'll exercise too hard sometimes, but they don't focus actively on getting those hydration levels up. If they get thirsty, they might drink water. But whether it's 2.5 liters a day or 3 liters a day, they don't take hitting those hydration targets very seriously. So can we just kind of explain why it's so important? Because maybe if we understood why it's important, we might be more compelled to have the hydration we need.
Absolutely. Hydration is important for several aspects. And those people who are coming for the fitness level or like probably the health level, and important for all organs including skin. And like rightly mentioned, many people or many patients, they drink when they feel thirsty. No, that's wrong, because probably your hydration level drops to 2 to 3% when you feel thirst. But we are dehydrated before that also. So I would say like a best indicator for the normal person, go for the urine color. If a urine color is a pale stool color, that means you are well hydrated.
Right.
And in addition, you can cultivate good qualities. When you go to bed, you can have a glass of water. Probably when you wake up morning, just start with a glass of water, because we dehydrate throughout our sleeping. We lose water from our setting and probably urination. We lose water, but we don't drink while we are sleeping. So you can have a glass of water. So throughout the day, always keep as a habit having a bottled water, or you can have any kind of water. And it's like a habit. You always bring a water bottle when you're going to your place, and if you are working, keep a water bottle with you. Good, and it provides water as well as sometimes some essential electrolytes also, like some minerals. So that actually maintain your good health, and it is very easy thing to do it also. And if you move for the weight loss plan also, hydration is very important, because probably they feel hungry, but having some water actually, again, they feel little fullness with that. So having good amount of water throughout the day, they don't get any calories, but they feel full to some extent, so they can manage the diet plan or this weight loss plan.
And when you're taking in the nutrients that you need, does water play a part in kind of regulating whatever you're feeding your body? does water play a part in how that's then integrated into your body as well, do you think?
Yes, but human have a capacity, and to be honest, if you don't drink amount of water, probably if your kidneys functioning well, you can control that. But that's not a healthy way. You can't do it for like a longer period. If you don't drink water one day, yes, you can manage. But if you have that kind of habit for the longer period, you might end up with renal stones or sometimes with other diseases also.
Right.
So for normal function, well hydration is very important.
But there is such a thing as overhydration also?
Yes.
Okay.
And rarely, yes, some people died actually in the past. So, for example, like a marathoners and some people, because this hydration guidelines has been changing. In the past, probably you're surprised. Marathoners do not ask to drink during Olympics also. And 50% marathoners do not complete even marathon in those days.
Okay.
Marathoners, they don't complete even marathon because they dehydrated and some they died also. Then the guidelines change, you have to drink like a 250 milliliter water every quarter hourly like that. But humans are different, like our skin color is different. Some people have more sweat glands, some people have less sweat gland, and some people have a ability to adapt for the humid, hot environment compared to some coming from the colder country, they can't. So, but they were drinking same amount. There's some people actually become overhydrated, and they got something called hyponatremia, low sodium level, and actually some diet also. Now our hydration guidelines is very different, so it's dependent on the individual. You are the best person to understand your hydration requirement. As I mentioned, go with the urine color. If you don't take any B complex, some urine color should be like a normal, very close like a water color.
Right.
And so that's when you are well hydrated. And if you are having like glass of water early morning, and if you are drinking throughout the day, at least like a 2 liters, because we get the water from the other things also, probably are well hydrated. And there are some substitute for the close to water also, like you can have green tea, there are herbal teas, there are a lot of other things also very close to water also.
Correct.
So it's like a liquid amount of liquid.
Yes, exactly. I think now in a more practical sense, people have found ways to incorporate maybe different flavors, like flavored tea or something that you can kind of seep into your water to make it taste better, so you can actually get those hydration. Because sometimes people say, oh, water doesn't taste, it's not supposed to, but it doesn't taste good, so I don't drink so much water. But there are no excuses to not drinking water. So
you can do several things. You can have a little bit of mint leaves, probably you can have a little bit of lime, and for the mineral water you can have some ice, and you can have like a big bottle, and you can drink. So it has some taste, so you feel to drink it also.
Yeah, exactly. So I think just like nutrition and your fitness, hydration, like you mentioned in your consultations, as well as now here, these are important factors. And people also talk about sleep as well. We won't talk about it today, but there are many factors to wellness and fitness, apart from these two main topics that we generally keep talking about, which is fitness and nutrition. So, doctor, if a normal person like myself, who's not a sports person, were to change a few things about their lifestyle in general, not nutrition and exercise per se, but just their lifestyle, which are the kind of things that you've seen make the most difference? So somebody did this and they've seen changes happen in their body. So most commonly seen things that can make very impactful things, but are simple things to do, because not many people would have sometimes the motivation to follow a really strict nutrition plan or a strict exercise plan or something like that. But if we tell them something that's simple and practical for them to do in their lifestyle, they might be more inspired to do something like that. So
and this is we call behavioral change. When it comes to behavioral change, always our behavior should be very close to our cultural habit. First thing. Second thing, it should be able to sustain for the longer period.
Yes.
And so in Sri Lanka, what we encourage for the normal person, probably a little bit beyond sports, because for the normal people, and because we are a rice-eating country, and so, and why we see a lot of non-communicable diseases like diabetes, obesity, and weight gain, and we are sedentary, of course. And probably our main calorie source is rice. So probably we can control the portion of rice. However, we have a hunger. So to replace that with the more vegetables, which is like a fresh vegetables and probably salad and malung, Sri Lankan context, those kind of dark green leaf vegetables and vegetables. And we have seen protein intake also not very high for the general public. So we can actually add some protein also. So in the simple concept now for the lunch, you can have probably 1/4 of your plate should be rice, probably 1/4 should be protein also, then you feel really full, and half should be vegetable, which includes some dark green leaf vegetables also. And this is something we can practice in this country and for a longer period also.
Yeah.
I personally don't encourage we call fat diet. Fat diet means there are skipping meals, sometimes get a high protein, high fat diet. And I'm not saying those are not effective. They are effective for some populations, but in Sri Lanka, it's not very effective for the longer period.
Yeah.
Because you can't skip breakfast for the lifetime, you know.
Yeah.
And probably when you're skipping breakfast, you might lose some weight. But again, when you start eating breakfast, you regain everything.
Yes.
So it's no point.
Okay.
And we can't avoid rice for the lifetime in this country. If you go to a friend's place, you might get rice. If you go to outside, you can easily find the rice packet. You now.
Correct.
So we have to go with the rice eating culture also. And other things, we have subtle changes. Subtle changes mean if some really want to drink milk, you can go for the low fat varieties. And if they really want to have a sugar taste, you know, or sweet taste, we can go for the less sugar. So I think there are natural and artificial sweetness which provide sweet taste but with the less calories.
Yeah.
And probably our snack should be healthier versions like probably fruits or probably dairy products and milk or something rather than eating a biscuits or cake or something frequently.
Yes.
But rarely, yes, of course, you can enjoy a piece of cake or chocolate or biscuit, but it's not a, frequent snack.
Yeah.
So those are the basic things we can change in addition to hydration throughout the day. Just drink water. And there are apps also you can use that.
Yes.
And probably if you don't have that kind of qualities, we can cultivate qualities, having some sticky note about, and writing down things, and then you can remember things, you can memorize, and you can change those behaviors.
Also, Doctor, I think there's a lot of discussion around supplements as well. Definitely for sports people, athletes, it's a given. People do tend to see a lot of talk in that area. But also generally, a lot of people are also looking into supplementing nutrients that they might not get in their normal meals. And also if they're going to gym, do I need a supplement? Do I not need a supplement? These are questions that are always buzzing around in the gym. So for sports people in particular, what kind of role does supplements play, and how do we know what's good, what's bad, what's suitable, especially for this part of the world?
Yeah. And as I discussed mainly that pyramid, we discussed about a baseline, which is like eating good amount of food and getting enough calories and take a vitamin mineral. So next level, there are supplements. It's called supplement. If you're missing something, you can supplement that with that.
Yeah.
So there are supplements which will not improve the sport performance, but still it improve your probably fitness level, probably general well-being. Good example is a whey protein.
Yeah.
And in the past, people have a lot of myths about whey protein. Now we are giving even whey protein for the ICU patients, and when they can't achieve their protein requirement.
Right.
And so it's not for everyone, but if you can't achieve the protein requirement for the day-to-day food, and probably, for example, after training session, if you're very busy, probably you have to go home or if you have to go to work, and probably if you can't get a protein-rich meal, so having a scoop of whey protein might be helpful for that kind of situation. And some professional level athletes, they can't have protein early morning, so we give a protein early morning as a whey protein scoop, and which improve their muscle build. That means because they are in the breakdown state, so we can stop that also.
Right.
So there are places for the whey protein, but if you don't eat food, if you don't get enough nutrients, there are no point of a whey protein only. So but if you can optimize your nutrient intake, then whey protein might have some impact. There are a few other supplements also like that. In Sri Lanka, this is something called BCAA, branch and amino acid. Not very effective. Yes, you can take it. And these are not to improve the performance. But there are next level of supplement, which is mainly for the professional athletes.
Okay.
There are 5 supplements recommended from the International Olympic Committee. They call ergogenic supplement. They improve the performance depending on the sport.
Okay.
One is a caffeine. It's a coffee, caffeine. So it's a stimulant. So irrespective of the sports you are doing, if you take a caffeine, probably it increases your performance. Probably you don't feel tired. Probably it increases alertness. So there are advantage.
Right.
And second one is so-called creatine, which is very common in gym also. It increases your muscle mass and explosive power.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're lifting weight, probably you can lift more weight.
Okay.
And some whey protein also add creatine also, have like additional advantage.
Right.
But this is increasing muscle power and the agility. So it is not good for someone who are doing a marathon or like a long distance.
Okay.
So they shouldn't be muscular and bulky. So, but this is good for the sprinters or bodybuilders and modelers. So, I mean, someone who want to maintain the muscle mass. So, third one we call beta and lean, which is actually neutralize your lactic acid accumulation. So it's basically for this, not for the normal people, probably like a middle distance runners.
Right.
And probably 400, 800. But Sri Lanka, we are doing well in that category. So it's important for the most of our professional athletes.
Right.
Another one is, and we call bicarbonate. And it's very simple thing, like we call upper soda or something. It's available in the supermarket also. It's not something very expensive, but again, it's we call alkaline substance. So it neutralizes acidic level in your body.
Right.
So people who get lactic acid, especially middle distance runners, they can take it.
Okay.
Last one we call nitrate or beetroot juice, and which is good for the long distance runners. And it produces, we call nitrous oxide, and probably it increases their blood circulation. Probably they can perform well there. Apart from these things, all other supplements are generally useless, could be harmful also.
Right.
So, and what we have seen in the gym, there are people who take like something called pre-workout, and which contain everything. Probably there are a lot of harmful substances also. They have to really look for the label and identify take it. And especially if someone is professional athlete, a professional sports person, they shouldn't take this pre-workout. They might contain banned substance, and that might affect for their even future career, because
it might stay in your body for a little longer.
And they can detect those bad substances.
Right.
And so probably they might be disqualified for the event. So that has happened in Sri Lanka. So it's not very uncommon.
Yeah.
So they have to be very careful when they are taking those so-called pre-workout. But if you're just a recreational athlete, if you're just a bodybuilder, if you just want to lift a weight or like a baking, they can take it also.
So doctor, අපි දැන් පහුගිය දශක එක්ක බලනකොට දැන් ජිම් යන ප්‍රමාණය සාමාන්‍ය ජනතාව වැඩට ගිහිල්ලා ජිම් එකට යනවා. ඒක ලයිෆ් ස්ටයිල් එකට ඉන්කෝපරේට් වෙලා තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි. ඒක හොඳ දෙයක් කියලා මම හිතනවා. අපි අපේ ආහාර රටාවත් එක්ක මිනිස්සුන්ට දැන් තේරිලා තිනවා හරි යම් කිසි ව්‍යායාමයක් අවශ්‍යයි කියලා. ඉතින් ඒක ලබා ගන්න. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්කම ඩයට් එක ගැනත් කතා කරනවා, exercises ගැනත් කතා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම supplements කියන topic එකක් ගොඩක් කතා වෙනවා. සාමාන්‍ය අයත් කතා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන් ඒක අදාළ වෙන්නේ athletes ලට, sports කරන අයට, sports ගැන interested අයට, ඒකට enter වෙන්න ඉන්න අයට. ඉතින් supplements කියන එක ලොකු subject එකක්. supplements වල කොහොමද තමන්ට ගැලපෙන දේ තෝරගන්නේ? හැමෝටම සප්ලිමන්ට් එකක් ඕනමද? විශේෂයෙන් ස්පෝර්ට්ස් කරනවා නම් මොන වගේ සප්ලිමන්ට්ස්ද තමන්ට ගැලපෙන්නේ? තමන්ගේ ක්‍රීඩාවට ගැලපෙන්නේ? ඒක කොහොමද පොඩ්ඩක් අපි දැනගන්නේ?
අත සප්ලිමන්ට් ලොකු සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක තමයි. ලෝකේ සප්ලිමන්ට් මාකට් එක ලොකුයි ලංකාවේ ටෝටල් ඉකොනොමිකට වඩා අතරම. නේද? එච්චරට ලොකු එකක්. නේද? මේ ඒකේ ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. අතන කිව්වාගේ දැන් ඉස්සරට දැන් අපිට ජිම් මෙම්බර්ෂිප් ගන්න තමයි ගානත් වැඩි ලේක ඉස්සර වගේ නෙමෙයි. ගොඩක් කම්පිටිටිව් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒක හොඳ ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක්. මොකද අපි අතීතයේ තිබ්බ ගොඩාක් ඇක්ටිවිටි දැන් නැති වෙලා යන කාලයක ඒතර ජිම් එකට ගිහලා ඇක්ටිවිටි එකක් කරනවා නම් ඒකලගේ හෙල්ත් එක ඉම්ප්‍රූව් වෙනවා. ඒක අපි කියන්නේ දැන් ඒක හරිම ඔබ්වියස්. කියන්නේ එච්චරටම ඒකේ වාසියක් වෙනවා කරනවා. හැබැයි ඒකම අර ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දිනචරියාවල වෙනස් කීපයක් දැකලා තියෙනවා. කන බොන වල වෙනස් වෙනවා වගේම දැන් එක්සර්සයිස් අලුත් ටෙක්නික් හරින් අලුත් ඉද කරනවා වගේම ඒගොල්ලන් දියර ආහාර ගන්නවා වගේ හයිඩ්‍රේෂන් කරනවා වගේ දැන් අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා සප්ලිමන්ට් එකක ඒව ගන්නවා. ඉතින් මේකෙදි සමහරට කෙයාෆුල් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ සප්ලිමන්ට් එක නරකයි කියන එක නෙමෙයි. අපි සුදු අවස්ථාව තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ. අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා මං කිව්වා වගේම ජිම් එකට මුලින්ම බැඳුන එක්කෙනෙක් හුඟක් වෙලාට ගිහලා තදින් රුපියල් 25000 දීලා වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් බෝතලයක් ගන්න එක තීරුමක් නැහැ. හේතුව තාම එයා එක්සර්සයිස් ටික හරි ටෙක්නික් එක පටන් ගන්න නැහැ. එතකොට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි සප්ලිමන්ට් කියන එක කරන්නේ අර කිව්වා වගේ තමයි ඒක ආහාර අතිරේකයක් වගේනේ. අපි කෑමෙන් ගන්න බැයි නම් තමයි ඒක ගන්න හදන්නේ. එතකොට හැම එකකට අපි කියන්නේ ජිම් එකට මුලින්ම පිළිවෙලට කන්න. අපි එහෙම කරන්නේ නැති අය ඉන්නවා. ජිම් එකට ගිහිල්ලා පැය ගණන් කන්න නැතුව ඉන්න අය ඉන්නවා. නැත්තම් ජිම් එකට ගිහලා රැට නොකා නිදා ගන්න අය ඉන්නවා. නැත්තම් උදේට කන්න නැතුව ජිම් එකට යන අය ඉන්නවා. මුලින්ම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කෑම ටික හදාගෙන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. ඒකෙන් පස්සේ ඒගොල්ල කාලා තිස්ස එක්සර්සයිස් කරද්දී අපි ඕන එකක් අපි සම්තුෂ්ත වෙනවා. ඊට වඩා ඉහළට යන්න බැරි වෙනවා. එතකොට දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් ගත්තොත් මුලින්ම බෙන්ච් ප්‍රෙස් 1 කිලෝ 50ක් ඒක දැන් 70ට 80ට ඊට කොච්චර දැඟලුවත් යන්න බෑ කියලා වෙනවා. එතකොට අපි කියන්නේ කෑමත් කාලා හොඳට විටමිනුත් අරගෙන අපි හයිඩ්‍රේට් උත් වෙලා අපි නැත්නම් සජලන තත්ත්වෙත් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒත් කරගන්න බැයි නම් සප්ලිමන්ට් වල වාසියක් සමහරට තියෙන බ්ලම් මසල් බිල්ඩ් එක. ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවක සමහර වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒ වගේ මසල් රිකවරි එක සහ මසල් බිල්ඩින් වලට වාසියක් තියෙනවා. ඒකට ඒක ගස්ත පුළුවන්. තව ඒවා තියෙනවා නැත්නම් ජිම් වල පාවිච්චි කරන BC ඩබල් එක කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒක රිකවරි එකට වාසියක් තියෙනවා කියලා. හැබැයි ලොකු පර්ෆෝමන්ස් වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි ඒකත් ඒක ගොඩකට වතුර ගොඩක් දාලා බොන එකක් වෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට ඒකත් හයිඩ්‍රේෂන් වාසියකුත් තියෙනවා. ඒක ඉලෙක්ට්‍රෝලයිට්ස් සම්බුනවා, කාංචලවලුත් සම්බුනවා. පොඩි එනර්ජි ප්‍රමාණයකුත් සම්බුනවා. ඒක ගන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙන සප්ලිමන්ට් එකේ තියෙන පුදුම කරාට ජිම් වල නම් ප්‍රී වර්කවුට්ස් කියන ඒවල. ප්‍රී වර්කවුට්ස් කියලා බේස් කරලා තියෙන කැෆේන් කියන එක. හැබැයි කැෆේන් හැම එක්කෙනාටම එක වගේම හොඳ නැහැ. මොකද කැෆේන් වලින් අපේ heart rate වැඩි කරලා විශේෂයෙන් වයසක එක්කෙනා නැත්නම් heart එකේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනකොට pressure වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, heart rate වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා, heart disease වගේ පැත්තකට එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතකොට ඒගොල්ලන් අත්‍යවශ්‍ය මට්ටමක ඉන්නවා නම් තමයි කතා කරලා ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එක ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒකත් ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් ලේබල් එක කියවන ගමන් අනිවාර්යෙන් කියනවා. උගා ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් වල තියෙනවා අපි දන්න තියව ගොඩාක් ලියලා. ඒක අපිවත් දන්නේ කවුරුත් දන්නේ සමහර ශාකසාර කියලා. ඒගොල්ලන් ටෙක්නිකල් නේම් වලින් තමයි දාන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් හදපු නමක්. ඒක මේ ගහක නමක්වත් මුකුත් නෙමෙයි. ඒවල මොනවා තියෙනවද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි ඉතින් අතට අපි වෙන මොන හරි අතුරු ආවා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. කාට හරි අර පුෂ් කරගන්න මදිමන ඕන කැෆේන් ටැබ්ලට් එකක් හිටලා ගොඩක් සේෆ් අතර. ඒ වගේ ගන්න කැෆේන් ජෙලි වගේ දෙන ටැබ්ලට් තියෙනවා. ඒක දෙකට ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එකක් ඉතින් විශේෂයෙන් මැදි වයසින් වගේ පස්සේ එච්ච සේෆ් කියලා කියන හැටි අමාරුයි. අර heart rate එක වැඩි වෙන හින්දා. right. හැබැයි කෙටි කාලෙට ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අනිත් එක තමයි ක්‍රීටින් කියන එක. ඒක තියෙනවා අත මිත්‍යාමතකුත් තියෙනවා. ක්‍රීටින් එකම වකුගඩු නරක් වෙනවා එහෙම කියලා. නැත්නම් ඒ වගේ දේකුත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම ක්‍රීටින් වලින් වකුගඩු නරක් වෙනවා වගේ දෙයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ නිරෝගී කෙනෙකුට. අපි වතුර බොන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒ වගුණත් ඒ වකුගඩු පැත්තට බලපාන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි නිරෝගීකට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට මොකද ක්‍රීටින් හැබැයි හැමදාම ගන්න එකක් නෙමෙයි. දැන් වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් එක අපිට හැමදාම ගන්න පුළුවන්. වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් වල සරලවකතර කිදි වල මෝරු කියන එක. ඒක තමයි ඒක ෆුඩ් එකක්. කෑමක්. ඒක පිටි කරලා තිබ්බට ඒක අපි කන දෙයක් ඇත්තම. ඒක අතුරු ආබාධයක් කියන එකක් නෑ කියලා ලෙවල් එක මම කියන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. හැබැයි ක්‍රීටින් ඔය ගන්න අපි ෂෝට් ටර්ම් ගන්න මාස දෙකක් තුනක් වගේ අරගෙන ඊට සායි වොෂ් අවුට් පීරියඩ් එකක්. ඒ සාරි මාසයක් දෙකක්වත් නවත්තලා තියනවා. හැමදාම ගන්න දෙයක් මේක. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ක්‍රීටින් වලින් මසල් මෑස් එක වැඩි වෙන එක සහ ස්ට්‍රෙන්ත් එක වැඩි වෙන එක වෙනවා. අයිටි ටික ඔක්කොම වැටෙනවා. කැම් ටික වැටලා ඔක්කොම ගෙදෙනවා නින්ද ඔක්කොම වැටෙනවා වෙනවා. ඔය ටික තමයි කියන්නේ. නැත්නම් සාමාන්‍ය වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් ගත්තොත් ලොකු හානියක් ඇත්තෙම නෑ ගන්න පුළුවන්. ගොඩක් අයට ඒගොල්ලන් හොඳම ලෙවල් එක ට්‍රේනින් කරනවා නම් ක්‍රීටින් වල එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. මසල් මෑස් එක වැඩි වෙන්න ස්ට්‍රෙන්ත් එක වැඩි වෙන හැබැයි කෙටි කාලයකට ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එක ගද්දි පොඩ්ඩක් කෙයාෆුල් වෙන්න ඕනේ. කැෆේන් වලට විතරක් ගන්න ඕන. අර එනර්ජි නිකන් එනර්ජි එක එන්නේ පොඩ්ඩක් කැෆේන් ටැබ්ලට් එකකින් ගන්න ඊට වඩා සේෆ් ගොඩක් වෙලාට අනිත් ඒවා ගන්නවා ලේබල් එක කියලා බලලා අනවශ්‍ය දේවල් අයින් කරලා තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ. හැම ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එකම එච්චරම නිරෝගී කියලා කියන්න බෑ. ඒ වලින් heart rate වැඩි වෙන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන පුළුවන්. ඒ වල තියෙන අනිත් සබ්ස්ටන්ස් ඉද. විශේෂයෙන් වෘත්තීය මට්ටමේ ක්‍රීඩකයෙකුට ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් ගන්න මම එපා කියලා කියන්නේ තියෙනවා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වලටම ඇප්‍රූව් කරපු කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඒකට අනිත් එකක්වත් ගන්න එපා කියලා කියන මොකද ඒවල තහනම් උත්තේජක තියෙන පුළුවන් හින්දා.
right. supplements වශයෙන් ඔය මොනවා ගත්තත් basically ඒ හැම දෙයක්ම යම් කිසි රිසර්ච් එකකින් සහ මොකක් හරි ෆැක්ට් චෙක් කරලා තමයි අපි ගන්න ඕනේ කියන එකත් මම දැන් ડોක්ටර් කියන එකෙන් තේරෙනවා. මොකද ජිම් එකකට ගියපු ගමන්ම එනවනේ මම දැන් ජිම් එකට අඩිය තිබ්බා. ඒ හින්දා මට ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එකක් ඕන වෙනවා. ඔව් ඒක තමයි ප්‍රී වර්කවුට් එකකුත් ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ වේ ප්‍රෝටීන් එකක් හරි මොකක් හරි ප්‍රෝටීන් සප්ලිමන්ට් එකකුත් ඕනේ කියන එක. නමුත් මේක සප්ලිමන්ට් එකක් නිසාම අතිරේකයක් නිසාම ඉස්සෙල්ලා බලන්න ඕනේ තමන්ට අදාළ දේවල් අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට ලැබෙනවද? එහෙම නැත්නම්නේ ඕන දෙයකින් අපි අතිරේකයක් එකතු කරගන්නේ. So for example I'm vegetarian. So මම vegetarian නිසා මට ඇත්තටම දිගටම ඒක පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. මගේ ප්‍රෝටීන් ගෝල්ස් රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක කොහොමද අචීව් කරගන්නේ කියලා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි අර මුලින්ම කතා කරා වගේ අපේ ලංකාවේ ආහාර රටාව තුල දැන් මම පිටරට ජීවත් වෙනකොට මට තේරෙනවා එච්චර එෆර්ට් එකක් නැතුව මට ප්‍රෝටීන් කන්සියුම් වෙනවා. මම ඒක වැඩිපුර හිතන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ සහ වෙජිටේරියන් ප්‍රෝටීන් මට ගන්න ලේසි කියලා. නමුත් ලංකාවට ආවට පස්සේ අපි සාමාන්‍ය ආහාර වෙලා රටාව දැක්කහම පස්සේ මටම තේරෙනවා හරි වැඩිපුර බර වෙලා තියෙන කාබෝහයිඩ්‍රේට්ස් වලට. සහ එහෙම ඒක නොකා ඉන්නවා කියලා අපිට බඩගින්න ඉන්නත් බෑ. එතකොට බඩ පිරෙන්නේ ගොඩක් දුරට කාබෝහයිඩ්‍රේට්ස් එක්ක. එතකොට ඒ වගේ තැනකදී සමහර වෙලාවට ප්‍රෝටීන් එකක් රෙකමෙන්ඩ් කරලා තියෙන අවස්ථා තියෙනවා. එතකොට සාමාන්‍ය අයට කොයි වගේ වෙලාවටද සප්ලිමන්ට් එකක් රෙලෙවන්ට් වෙන්නේ එහෙම නැත්නම් හෙල්ප්ෆුල් වෙන්නේ? අපි
සාමාන්‍ය ජනරල් පබ්ලික් නම් සාමාන්‍ය අපි නිකන් ඉන්නකොට ඇත්තට සප්ලිමන්ට් එක අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේම නැහැ. ඒකට කෑම වලින් ඔක්කොම කවර් කරනවා. හැබැයි ස්පෙෂල් සිටුේෂන් දැන් වෙජිටේරියන් වල ඉන්නවා කිව්වාගේ මේ වගේම ගොඩක් ඔප්ෂන්ස් නැත්නම් කියන්නේ දැන් එළියෙන් කන්න වගේ කියොත් එහෙම ඔප්ෂන්ස් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවල අපිට ප්‍රෝටීන් රික්වයර්මන්ට් එන්නේ නැත්නම් ප්‍රෝටීන් ස්කූප් එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Mhm.
හැබැයි ඒක අතර අවුරුදු 10 15 ලොන්ග් ටර්ම් කරන්න අපි එන්කරේජ් කරන්නේ නැහැ.
Okay.
එන්කරේජ් කරන්න පුළුවන් තරම් අමාරුවෙන් හරි අර කැම ටික හදාගෙන බැරි දවසකින් සප්ලිමන්ට් එක ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Mhm.
ඒක බැරි හින්දා. ඒ උන්ටතර අන්තයින වීගන්ස් කියලා ඉන්න
Yes.
ලංකාවේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කිරි ආහාර ගන්නත් බෑ.
ඒක ගොඩක් අමාරු ආහාර.
එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් ඉතින් හරිම අමාරු හොයාගන්න ඉතින්
ඔව්.
ඔය පල්සස් එකේ අපි කඩල මුංගට වගේ හදාගන්න
ඔව්.
පුළුවන්. තව නට්ස් වගේ වලින් ප්‍රෝටීන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවල කිරි බොන්නෙත් නැති හින්දා එතකොට තියෙන එකම අවස්ථාව තමයි වීගන් ප්‍රෝටීන් තියෙන නැත්නම් සෝයා සම්බන්ධ ඒවා ගන්න පුළුවන්.
ඔව්.
ටෝෆු වගේ දේවල්. ඒ වගේ නැත්නම් TVP ගොඩක් high quality protein තියෙන දේවල්.
Mhm.
ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒ තමයි ඉක්ලන් තියෙන්නේ.
Right. Okay. So that's very helpful for me as well. All right. So I gained so much knowledge. Honestly, I feel like I'm learning while I'm doing this so much because even though we think we know, it's like I said at the very beginning, figuring out which information is really factual and relevant to us is the hardest thing to do right now with the kind of noise we have in this space. So thank you so much, Doctor, for being here. But just also as a parting note, if with all your expertise, it's obviously this is going to take days and months to even narrow down the kind of expertise we could get from you. But the kind of wisdom you would want to impart on anyone who's maybe just a normal person starting off on their fitness journey or an athlete who's well on their fitness journey, but just this one thing that might be relevant for all, but would be something you'd want everyone to know.
There are very simple things we can follow. For example, we all need probably 7-8 hours sleeping.
Mhm.
So that's I encourage for the professional athletes as well as normal person who wants to lose weight or even they are in perfect shape still. That sleeping is very important.
Right.
Then probably hydration also.
Mhm.
And those are very easy things. And go for the urine color and or have a habit of drinking water. So then you are well hydrated. So a lot of problems are sorted with that.
Yeah.
And then when you come to food habits, what I always encourage, go for the cultural habits
Mhm.
and which can be sustainable in longer period.
Yeah.
So in Sri Lanka, yes, if you are eating rice and curry, yes, cut down rice, add more vegetables, probably add my protein. And if you have a unhealthy snacks, you go for the healthy snacks. If you're going for the dairy products, go for the low fat dairy products. So, and occasionally, yes, you can enjoy, high calorie, high fat food. Those occasionally like probably a piece of cake or
Yeah.
chocolate or something. I'm
Yeah.
not saying no for the everything,
Yeah.
but occasionally.
Yeah.
And other healthy habits are, as we all know, like quit smoking
Mhm.
and stop alcohol, and probably you can add exercise also for as a last thing.
Yeah.
And now evidence shows exercise or physical inactivity very equal to like smoking also. So
Ooh.
that's
Yeah.
research paper from the Lancet like a few years before.
Right.
So effect of the physical inactivity is equal for the human mortality and like a
Wow.
smoking.
Okay.
So now I have a trend, but still people are giving excuses. They are giving, say, no, because it's rainy day or probably
Yeah.
there are problems in the family, so I can't do exercise. So
Yeah.
no, it's just a 1 hour workout.
Mhm.
It's less than 4% of your time probably.
Mhm.
We have 24 hours, 1 hour spent less than probably around 4%. Yes, so it's a very small amount of time for your day,
Mhm.
and allocate for the exercise.
Mhm.
And when you go for the exercise, so do it very hard according to fitness level.
Mhm.
And some people they walk, but they are just texting or just,
Yeah, you're just
calling.
scrolling,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So it's not like a real walking. So exercise is not just a time only. In intensity and the depth also very important.
Right. පොඩි මහන්සියක් දැනෙන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ. Okay, all right. Okay.
So probably 5 days per week, 1 hour.
Mhm.
That will be sufficient to most of us for the improve our health status.
Right.
And probably professional level, yes, you need little more than that.
Mhm.
And if you're relatively old age or like middle age, if you have the problems like joint pain or something,
Mhm.
better to meet a physiotherapist or sports specialist and get advice before starting that also, especially if you have a heart disease or something. Because exercise not for everyone like same level. So you have to assess your level before doing exercise also.
Okay.
So I think those are the simple things we can do for the
Yeah.
maintain our good health and longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. That's a whole lot of information in one podcast. Thank you so much, Professor Jayawardena, for being here again.
Yeah,
And
welcome.
like I said, I'm learning, you're learning, and we shall learn together on our next podcast with FitPod.